if you imitate what wealthy people are doing, then you'll probably become wealthy. And unfortunately, they have a lot of our young people imitating people who are going to be in prison or end up dead. And then they end up in prison and they end up dead, and everybody acts shocked and surprised. I don't want that for you. I don't want that for your children. I don't want that for anybody. So economically speaking, 80% of all families with incomes over $100,000 are investors in the stock market. If you look at families with incomes below 40,000, only 14% are consistent investors in the stock market. Number three, let's go to another stat. The Center for Retirement Research at Boston College found that stock owning households accumulate far more wealth over time. On average, households that invest in stocks have retirement savings that are 3 times higher than those who do not invest, largely due to higher returns generated by equities compared to other investment vehicles. So if you are either close to retirement or you're talking to somebody who's going to retire one day, which is pretty much everybody, they should understand clearly that stocks must be part of your retirement plan. If it's not, then it's probably going to be really difficult for you to have a good retirement. And the reason that retirement planning should be something that children are thinking about even in their teens is because retirement planning doesn't just mean that you're going to be comfortable when you're 65. Retirement planning means that you're building a capital base and a nest egg, which can give you financial security when you're 35. It can give you security when you're 25. If you put money in your 401k or your 403b or whatever retirement plan you choose, that money is still your money, even if you're not old yet. Even if you're in your 20s, that's still your money. It's just sitting in this tax deferred account, but you still have access to that. That is still your money. The same thing is true when you talk about investing for your kids. See, what I figured out the hard way. Here's what I figured out. Here's what I used to say, and this was maybe 5 years ago. This is what Boyce sounded like in 2019. I'm still trying to evolve. So here's what Boyce would say in 2019. He would say, you should plan for retirement early, because the earlier you start investing for retirement, the more money you'll have when you retire. And if you start early, you'll get so far ahead that people who start late will never catch up. So by the time you hit retirement, you'll be in good shape. That is a true statement. But what Boyce in 2024 realized is that the benefits of saving for retirement don't just happen when you're old, because all you're really doing is accumulating wealth. And if you accumulate that wealth, it doesn't mean that you're only going to be good later on. You're going to be good even in the early stages of that process. Even when your retirement plan, which might consist of $1 million nest egg you want to build, even when it's just $30,000, well, that's $30,000 in assets that you have that can keep you and your family secure. It's almost like if somebody says, if you start eating at 5 o'clock and dinner ends at 6, then you won't be hungry at 6:30. That's true. But if you think about it like this, if you're really hungry and you're going to eat dinner from 5 to 6, you're going to really be content from the very first bite of that food. You don't have to wait. Dude, let me know if you follow my analogy here. You don't have to wait till 6:30 to be full and to feel satisfied. You're going to be pretty happy at 5:02. Do you understand? Like that. So in fact, that first couple of bites of food will probably give you as much satisfaction, more satisfaction actually, than the bite of food you're going to take at 5:58. You follow me? So don't think that investing is just something where you just suffer for 30 years and then you're happy at the end. No, investing is something that gives marginal incremental benefits, emotional and psychological and financial, very early in the process. So take those first steps and that'll make a big difference. Another thing that Boyce back in 2019 might have said is this, because I've always understood for many, many years that families that invest for their children when they're young, if you wanted to avoid all the problems that our young people have when it comes to money, all you have to do is have two parents that love them enough and have enough economic vision to buy little shares of stock for them from the time that they're born. We do this in the $5 a day investing plan. If you haven't seen it, just go to blackwealthmasterplan.com. That's blackwealthmasterplan.com. It's toll free, right? So I've been able to say this for many years. I've probably been saying this for over a decade. But here's what I learned, and this really sucks, is that unfortunately we live in a world where people are just a little bit selfish. not everybody really cares that much about their kids to the point where they're going to invest for their children. That's reality. I hate to say it. I don't know if it's because they don't love their kids or maybe they just don't have time to love them as much as they are thinking about whatever is going on. So I'm not saying people don't care about their kids. I'm just saying it's real weird if I can tell you if you invest for your kids, they won't suffer later on, and people are like, yeah, whatever, right? So here's what I realized. I said, okay, I get it now. Maybe for some of us, we might care about our kids, but maybe we care about ourselves more than we care about our kids, at least right now. Right. So the way I would reframe that conversation is like this. I would say, okay, if you invest for your children now when they're newborn babies, that's not their money. That's actually your money that you can use and you can access to make your life better while you wait for them to grow up. Do you understand? So I cook a meal for you. It's one thing if I convince you, I say, hey, if you start the crock pot now and you cook some food now, then your children will get to eat good at 5 o'clock. That's not as good as me saying, if you start cooking right now, you can take bites of food yourself. You can eat just like everybody else. You can make yourself a plate too. You can actually take bites of food out of the crock pot while the food is cooking. So it's your food. And I'm just asking you to make the food for yourself so you can then share it with others. And wealth can be built that way too. That's okay. It's okay to